Come and get started on a new mission, a new direction, a new intention. Welcome to 5.8G Alive at Connections 50 Plus. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite.
And I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, catering to all your prospects in the third act of life.
Economic well-being, social gratification, personal fulfillment.
Join us on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Connections 50 Plus Facebook page, YouTube channel,
and on Gael the Caribbean.
Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Connections 5.8G Alive. I am Jennifer Gibbons Joseph, one of the co-creators of Connections 50 Plus, and as usual, with me are my two colleagues.
Hi, everyone. I am Terry-Ann Joseph Brathwaite, the other co-creator. Excited to be here this afternoon.
Welcome, one and all, to the land of learning and endurance, because you have to have endurance in this group. I am Maureen Joanne Bowen, and we're going to have a great time today.
Definitely.
Maureen, I must say, since you have joined us, that you always come up with interesting and soul-searching and provoking, I don't know what else I could add to that, topics that, you know, after the show, I am still thinking, oh gosh, Maureen have me just taking notes again. So, because I have said this, Maureen, because again, you suggested a topic for us to discuss that I know it will be an interesting one, thought-provoking one. So I would let you share that, information about what this topic would be about.
And just a reminder, we go in tune.
So again, I want everybody to be reminded that these topics are really for me, for nobody else, but for my good self, because I have been spending a lot of time with my good self, quality time, and doing introspection. So if you benefit from it, that's a downside of the topic, and that's wonderful. But I want to keep in mind, and everybody to keep in mind, that it's about my growth and me enjoying me and me discovering or rediscovering me on this third act stage. So today I was thinking about, and we had a free kind of discussion, and you all will be party to a lot of that engagement. I was thinking about how you create emotional space that will allow you or give you the freedom to enjoy your life and stop carrying other people's problems and focus more on the relationships, the purpose, and the life that you wish to create. That's a mouthful, but in the essence, it really talks about you and introspection and how you charting your course on this third act stage, rather than being influenced by the noises of other people's opinions or defining your worth based on what other people say about you or feel about you or think about you. I have every day, I keep being more and more a member of the I Do Not Care Club. And when I say that, it isn't like I don't care about other people and care about them, but I'm learning day by day to care about me more and to value me and to understand that I'm worth something even if nobody else thinks that I am. So that's the lead off to our discussion this evening.
Maureen, you know what that says too? Is that, they're saying we're never too old to learn.
Correct.
And, I would think someone with your experience in the career you're in, reaching this stage, to that stage, should know it all, in that way.
Mm-hmm.
So it is really good to hear you say that, hey, you still on that learning school, you're still growing and you don't know it all. But just the fact that you could introduce these topics, it would come from some learning from before, from having chatted with your clients, from your experience in the workplace with employees, etc., etc. And I must say, definitely, it helping me with my growth. And I'm sure it helping others who listening because, you come to the realization that don't care what stage we are, we should be open to learning something new.
Yeah.
And the other aspect of it is how it's being put across. I have several topics. So I could say by now, there is nothing else, no other topic you could come up with. But when you take a different slant, it causes you to go deeper.
Yeah.
So, when you talk about, you know, giving yourself that emotional space, I say, here Maureen goes again. And I start to think about what's my emotional space? When you say that, and how am I going to manage my emotional space? And for me now, I'm thinking, okay, I am at this stage in life. Um, yeah, I always say my biggest challenge over the years and continuing is to manage my anxiety. And I talk about anxiety in that I like things done a certain way within a certain time frame. And even now, although I have not, before I would say in 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years, I have removed the years, that time frame. But I still find myself, I want it done now in a short space of time.
Mm-hmm.
And managing that way of thinking, to me now is really managing my emotional space. Because I have to now, I'm thinking after this morning it come up, I'm on a project. I just got the information about a week ago, but I want to call the person, I want it done. Now, no, there's no rush. There's absolutely no reason, no rush, nothing. It's for my personal enjoyment and thing, but I want it done now. And that could really create problems in terms of your mental health.
Yeah.
So I like how you put it because I'm now thinking, hey, I now have to manage and clear my emotional space. And to do that is again, and you speak a lot about introspection, and I really do that a lot. And ask myself, then why are you anxious? What you're rushing? I mean, seriously, you know, allow it to take its time. Have faith. Everything gonna be all right. So yeah, managing that emotional space, how we deal with it, definitely would make a difference in terms of the path that we are taking in life.
Yeah.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So my brain is crowded now, so let me let Ian come in here as I process, this question. Yeah.
Yeah. Maureen, when you introduced the topic to us, you said of a situation that you asked someone to consider the following questions. Is this situation mine to solve, mine to influence, or simply something that I need to accept? And you said that the question revolves around the issue of detachment. And in our discussions, I said that, well, first of all, the questions are powerful. The questions are powerful because I think we don't, like Jennifer just said, a lot of times we feel all these situations are ours to solve. We really feel that all these situations are ours to solve, and we get around doing it. And I think that reflects our experience of wanting the best, but it could come over as kind of authoritarian and dictatorship kind of vibes, but coming from a very good place of wanting good. All right. We also have situations of mind to influence, which I think is different to mind to solve, because solve says, I want the problem removed. I want to come back to a place of peace, of good, but influence is simply my own way. And in that sense, Jennifer, I don't think you seek to influence. I think you seek to solve, bring a solution, bring good. And I think the most difficult part, or the part that we don't see as an option many times, is the situation simply something that I need to accept? And I think we have a difficulty with acceptance, because acceptance sounds like caving in, a loss. I've not won. My influence hasn't prevailed. The problem persists and I've not been the problem solver. So acceptance may be seen as weakness or as a negative. And in that context, you use the word detachment, which for me had a negative connotation that didn't jive with the energy of the questions you asked. Because to me, detach is a chop, and whatever has been detached is set aside and no longer associated with. So whether it's set aside and thrown away or set aside and ignored, but it is no longer associated with permanence. It's permanent. And I had an interesting weekend, and Jennifer said, "You're going to talk about your weekend," and I said, "I don't know if it is relevant," but as I look at the questions, I think that it is relevant. And I think it has to do with how we look at our relationships with people. So I want to send a love note to a group of ladies that I think are fantastic. This weekend, a group from our class, known them for over 55 years, my school class. We all met in 1973. And we took a time out to go to Cedrus. We keep together on a WhatsApp chat, and we sometimes meet at events. But this is the first time that we took 2 nights together. And the group, it was a fruit bowl. You know, you see those pictures of a fruit bowl, not a fruit salad, a fruit bowl. You had apples and grapes and coconut and banga and pomsite and sour cherry and sweet cherry and banana. Some were ripe, some were green, some were whatever it is. But what that weekend required, and it wasn't overtly said to us, it required for us to, the only way you could have fun and everyone totally enjoy is we had to get to that stage of, is this something I need to accept? Recognizing that all of us have lived, we were either 63, 64, or 65. So I don't know that having fun together would have, problem solving would have brought conflict, influencing would have brought conflict, but definitely acceptance of each individual as they were would ensure that we all had a great time. And we did that. And in doing that, I would use the word detach now. We were able, I was able to look at everyone and myself with my madness and my quirkiness and my whatever it is, and just let it be. not hide it. We called every person's craziness was called out. We didn't hide it. We didn't pretend. But that fruit bowl ended up being such a beautiful experience. There was horrible weather in Trinidad this weekend. I think I'm seeing things of floods and all kinds of things going on. And I remember at one point we were all in the room and it was raining outside. You know, we weren't aware that there was a storm. The rain was falling and we saw the intensity, but it didn't matter. And I say all this to say that your questions, your 3 questions, is this situation mine to solve, mine to influence? And I think solving and influencing have their space and it has their time. But for me to truly release and get the best of myself and of people around me, I have to know it's not to solve, but it is to accept. And this weekend, especially with those beautiful 11 ladies, really, really gave me an opportunity to experience acceptance and therefore detachment from myself. The detachment is really from in my head and in myself and accepting people as they are. And I don't know what is required and the tools. I cannot advise anybody or tell anybody how or what the process is, but it is an amazing thing, amazing thing to be able to detach in that positive way and get together with people and then just enjoy some time letting people be as wacky or as beautiful or as normal as they want to be. And I really want to take this opportunity to thank my girlfriends from 1973 for giving me an opportunity like that. Because they're not family, they're not, I don't usually when you go out with people and you spend overnights, they're people you know. But we know each other, but not like that. And it ended up being really, really beautiful. And I wish I could tell people the prescription as to how to experience that, but I can't. But I hope that little anecdote says something to somebody.
Maureen, before you answer Terry-Ann, this is just way off, but I must put this in. Terry-Ann spoke about like a bowl with different fruits. And Terry-Ann, what came to mind, this is real off. It's like you took all those fruits and you make a real good chop. Where
Yeah.
some sour, some sweet, some mixed up, but when you're squeezing it all up, it tastes real good. And everybody happy with the chow. I'm sorry, that just came to mind.
No,
you know, I could tell me something. I could go off a bit, but I use just that's what I'm saying. So everybody happy, mix up. You don't know what, you're just putting whatever seasoning and everything and tasting good. So all right. That was
Jennifer, I was thinking a bowl of fruits and a fruit salad. I said, but this wasn't a fruit salad. There's something about a fruit salad, but it was a chow. It was crisp. It was fresh. It had pepper. It was chow. Thank you.
So that came to me. And I tell it as it is, right?
So the recipe is chow. How you get chow? Ladies, we make a good chow.
Mix the bitter with the sweet pan. Love it.
Yes.
Love it.
And it all went together.
Love it. Yeah, love it.
I don't know. My definition of detachment, which was the topic that you wanted. It's so I don't know, and I'm going to ask you is the chow. So if we identify where the lime came from, the garlic, the shadow benny, because we are the fruits, but you had something else had to come in to bring it together. So we have to find the condiments that will turn fruits into a great chow. What are those condiments?
One of the first condiments is caring, and caring without allowing things to consume. because it was evident, everybody cared for everybody.
Yeah.
But you had the freedom to be able to say, oh God, not so much, or not at all.
Cut back
What
on
you
the
know about
pepper. Cut
this?
back on the
Yeah,
pepper.
cut back on
Yeah.
exactly. Or who know that they're allergic to whatever, take yours now before we put X, Y,
Yeah.
Z. That that so it is a question of caring, but without control,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because nobody was really in control. Everybody was in control of themselves.
Yeah. No one was in
But
charge.
not of the end product. And nobody wanted that either. Everybody was so doing what I call searching for greater emotional peace, that other people's melee and mix up and whatever certainly didn't influence what each of you would have gotten out of having had the experience. Because make no never mind about this, everybody went home with a different piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
It was like we had a whole box and we threw it out on the table. And over the weekend, and as we left there wasn't a clear conclusion. And because there wasn't a clear conclusion, what did we do? We say, you have out in Tobago? Next. So we keep thinking, and it's that kind of thing. It just
We're looking
opens
for
the
bowls to make the chow in. We're looking for
correct.
bowls to put in the chow.
Correct.
Yeah, we're
And
building on it.
different ambience, different, but we want the same ingredients. Yeah, we want, and if others wish to join, they have to
Yeah.
know that they're
We
not
open for
joining
other
because
fruits. We open for
correct,
coconut. We didn't have a
correct,
coconut.
correct, right? So it's not an end story. It's a
Yeah.
continuation of our story,
I love that chow
right?
because it was a chow.
So it was a chow, yeah. I think one of the things that we could look at is some of the benefits of this chow bowl. Because in a lot of instances, people think about how they will change things rather than how they benefit from having the experience that is before them. Yeah? So maybe part of our discussion is helping people through our experiences and our analogies to what are some of the benefits of choosing you over all else, of ensuring or working towards creating emotional space that will give you the kind of peace that allows you to continue to enjoy any audience that you find yourself in. Because, that's the other thing too. A lot of us think that we select the audience, but we really don't. The stage presents an opportunity for us to be part of many audiences. And in a lot of instances, we fail to enjoy because we come for only one thing and we're looking for one thing only. But experiences like this, and that's where we're at, ought to open your mindset and open your whole ability to experience things that you're challenged by.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay to be challenged because a lot of people feel that, look, I want to stick with what I know. At this stage of our lives, what we know is it's done gone. It did what it was supposed to do and we enjoyed it. Our experiences now are to be part of new experiences or challenges that may bring discomfort and may take us out of our norm and may create a lot of mindfulness in terms of how we move forward. So let's talk about some of the benefits from changing from same old, and kind of opening the way towards us being healthier. Because that's another thing too. This is about health. A lot of people, when they think of detached, they think in terms of loss. But it's not about loss. It's really about profit. It's about gaining because it's really about and I say that it moves away from being transactional to being transformative. We're really transforming our lives. Yeah. So maybe we could look at those things.
Maureen, I see it in terms of, and I really think of myself, is that removing again, in the introspection, you have to understand yourself, right? And in understanding who we are, we also know our weaknesses, right? Our strengths and weaknesses. And I would think that we start with, first of all, knowing that whatever we do is to make us happy. But to make us happy and want to ensure, create the environment, not just to make us happy, but the environment we to be a pleasant one, you know? And to do that, and you mentioned already that you go with an open mind, not one. I think we tend to be very judgmental without knowing it. It could be a default, you know, from the time we look around here, the place, we're looking for something to criticize and to go back feeling, oh, we're not that comfortable because we are stepping out of our comfort zone, right? So if we start by saying that, okay, no judgment, open mind, I am going to just have fun, embrace others who may not be like me, um, have some patience, you know, look for they may do things that we may not like, but remember, we're not perfect neither. So we have to keep reminding
Correct.
ourselves that, hey, just as how we could watch somebody else and find fault, they have plenty faults that they could find with us. So that is not an issue. We're removing that. And I believe, and I remember being told that when I started sales in training, and my manager said to me, to be a successful salesperson, you must like people, right? You must like people. And to do that, when you look at someone, find something you like. Don't find the things you don't like. We tend to default to the things we don't like. You look at them and say, why they dress so, they look, you know, all the different things. He
Yeah.
said, no, switch that thinking. You know, you say, reframe your thoughts and
Yeah.
look and say, you must see something you like. And if you can't see something you like, then don't go to that person. It won't work. So learn to like things, learn to find the things that you like. And I bring that into anything that we do, places we go, in Terrian story. You go there to have fun, enjoy, to add to the environment, to make others happy too. Because if everybody happy, and to do that, hey, stop finding fault. It's better that we ignore, right? You may
Yeah.
see things you don't like, or if you want to be real, even if the person is being real, then find a way not to escalate that situation. Because remember, many of us have this self-hate. We all going through situation. And the fact that someone is there with you says something, say that they like you.
They chose you.
And
chose you.
yeah, and they want
Yeah.
they want to be happy with you. So why not allow them to be? So for me, in terms of even if you use the detachment or emotional space, we could create that space by going into it in a positive. I always use energy. You know, I believe in the positive energy. And I believe that going into a space with that positive energy, hey, you would get that laughter and happiness. And at the end of the day, I love Terrian analogy with the fruits. Everybody different. Some fruits, she use the coconut. Some people, as we say, hard-headed, or they stick, or they like to control, and they do. Some fruits soft. You just, before you touch them, they soft and mushy. Some, you know, all the different types. You sour, you this, that. And really, Terrian, if you look at it like that, in any situation, and you appreciate all nice, eh? Some people like certain fruits, and I say, God, boy, that's so acid, that ain't gonna work for me. And they love it. people tell me they love pepper, and I say, hey, don't put no pepper there. So, but we appreciate what they like, and we appreciate the differences. And I think as long we do that, then we should have that cohesiveness and just try our best. There's growth for us. It's positive. It's all positive on that. So yeah, you have me
Yeah.
on a red alarm.
You know, Jennifer, what
You have me on a party. Mhm.
what you're talking
I
about
can't wait to
there
tell
is
our guests
really
about our chow, that we make chow.
about the
I
chow.
can't wait to tell them
Exactly.
that we make chow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
you know, to really take what you're saying over the top is really what you're doing there is creating stronger boundaries
Yeah.
because you're actually recognizing what is for you and what belongs to you and leaving what ought to be dealt with by somebody else.
Yeah.
And too often, I think that's something that we don't pay a lot of attention to. And as again, people will say that you don't care, but it's not that you don't care. Um, Caring has to do with allowing other people to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, what you're saying is correct. We have to create stronger boundaries and respect the fact that what is for us and what is not for them. And also in looking at caring, we have to recognize that we don't have to control or support or influence or even constantly monitoring. Because you know there are some people like that, you're making each other. But they
But they over you.
constantly monitoring over you know, you're like, what? Like if you don't know how to do nothing, they're the experts in this whole situation. Now, if you are not comfortable in your own skin, there are people who will say, see that, you do it, right? Or other people will start a quarrel and bring back a lot of historical detail about, well, I come from so and we used to sit under the mango tree and make chocolate. All of it is irrelevant because the fact is that, yeah, okay, you have an opinion. Wonderful. Your opinion is valuable. I'm not negating your opinion, or I am not diminishing you so that I look bigger or greater or more important, because at the end of the day, we just enjoying each other's company in a space.
Maureen, can you also say in that situation using the same chow,
Mhm.
that the person who may feel that they can do it better or whatever, they can also choose that, hey, when you get yours, you add to it, you add your whatever you want to it,
Yeah, yes,
right? It doesn't
yes,
mean that they don't interfere with what I'm doing. This is my way of doing it. Just accept that. So we accept that way, but then you do, you enhance on it if you wish to make
yeah,
you, if you want to feel that you are much happier doing it the other way. You do you, as they say. Yeah.
You
yeah,
know, I just wrote down something here, and it is amazing that you have this bowl of fruits and they're different. And even some fruits, you might have that same banana. If you have, or let me use a mango instead. You might have a green mango in the chow, a half ripe mango in the chow, and a ripe mango in the chow. It's the same mango, but because it's at different stages, it brings a very different thing to the chow.
Flavor. Yeah.
All right.
Mhm.
And also, and I think what happens if we if we accept that everything is as it is, God made it, and for a reason, and if you just leave it be and give it time, you will discover it. When you put fruits in a bowl and you cut them up and you mix them up and you mix sweet and tart and sour and acid, which are the tastes in your mouth, and then there's umami. If you leave fruits even for 15 minutes, it starts to, what's
Yeah.
the word? Ma macerate.
marinade.
It not they ooze their own liquid.
Yeah.
And that marination, it brings it into a neutrality that makes all of them okay together in this bowl. And you started to see, and very often if you mix the fruits and just leave it, and those each of the sauce, the sweet, the juices come out, the sweet, the sour, the tart, and you taste that without adding a thing, no pepper, no salt, no shadow benny, no nothing. You still have a
It
beautiful
has a
chow.
nice flavor. Yeah.
And you think of when you buy a bacon shack, what do they give you? They give you bake in a bread. And then they have the buffet of condiments. You
You
add
choose.
as you choose, and you end up with a beautiful sandwich, and everything is there. And I think the essence of what I experience is that the fruits were open and cut up and mixed in the bowl, and the natural juices came out, and then everybody put in what they wanted to put
What
in
they
it.
want.
So if you were allergic, if you didn't like this, if you didn't like that, you just leave it out of your bowl. But the base was solid. It was delicious. It was acceptable. And I think sometimes, as you said, Jennifer, you look and you say, well, I don't like sour cherry, so I'm not having that chow. And you're not even giving yourself a chance to see what did the sour cherry add to the rest of the flavors. You might not even taste sour cherry, but you will taste something that was, it made the mango change its flavor. And now you like both sour cherry and mango.
Yeah.
And you don't know it. And if you want some pepper and some shadow benny, then put that in the side in your bowl. It's no big issue. And that to me is the essence of detachment. Detachment, detachment is not cut and discard. Detachment is not a negative word. Detachment, I'm associating more with acceptance, meaning that I am detaching my vested interest to control and solve this or influence this. I am detaching myself from that need to be in control and to direct this and to influence this. I am bringing me with all my faults and I'm trying to bring the best part of me. And I must meet something in that chow bowl that is an opposite and makes what might be difficult for somebody to tolerate about me more acceptable because I'm blending it with something else. And I think that is where at freaking 64, 65 or 63, 64, 65 for our age group or for everybody in this 50 to 80, stop trying to control the flavor of the chow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it will come in and I think that created one of the best weekends that I've had, and it's there with the best of them. It's there, and it's always when I just relax and accept what is in. I know my boundaries. I know what I will do and what I will not do. But if someone else is doing it, it's okay. It's okay. I'll watch out for you. It's okay.
Yeah.
And let's see how it happens afterwards.
Yeah.
Is that hard to do, Maureen?
Very difficult because you see what that requires is also that you get out your head. We like to ruminate a lot. And we like to bring back, we always in our heads. We need to get out of our heads because a lot of our past messages, and I always tell people that your brain will search for what you tell it to search for.
Yeah.
Right? And for a lot of people, even though they appear to be present, they're physically present, but emotionally and everything else absent. Because they still live in that narrative. So they're missing the whole genesis of what this experience means or ought to mean for them. You know what I mean? And then some people too, they live vicariously through other people's experience. So they're not even allowing and giving us a permission to bring themselves or their self as they are now to the game because they're already thinking ahead. If I do certain things, then when they get in the smaller group, they will judge me, they will say this about me, they will say that about me. You know, it's that kind of thing. If you look at children, children don't care about nothing because they have no life experience. So they just want to live. They want to have, but we, because of our baggage, we have to make a conscious effort to somehow, you can't eliminate it, but certainly put it in perspective and put it where it is allowed to be or where it needs to be for us to continue our growth and development. Yeah. The second thing too is that a lot of us like instant gratification. So people start to criticize each other. We now make it oh God, this, that.
Vegetables.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. You understand? You see, same thing I say. You know, like anybody asks you for your opinion. You know, let everybody who go in there have their own opinion of
Don't put
what
no
they experience.
cherry in the chow. I tell you, don't put
Correct.
cherry.
I tell you, exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll find that you are influenced because let's say you and that person have a very good relationship outside of this relationship. You don't want to appear as if you're disagreeing or you're not supporting, or you know, so it's a kind of thing where I don't have no opinion now, but when you get in the smaller group or you go in the bathroom, you say, you know, I really didn't like, but why didn't say then? You could have said no, we have nobody with a whip, nobody going on. Yeah, we might disagree with you at the end of the day, but we all entitled to our opinion. We have a right to be here. And that's the kind of thing that we have to really work on in terms of being able to represent ourselves in a way that it's not like you're trying to diminish other people's worth, but you're just establishing the fact that this is the way I feel and this is the way I feel. And I don't need anybody to agree, disagree, or to tell me how to feel. Right? I have reached this stage in my development, and if I feel to change the way I feel, I'm entitled to do that too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it important in a group situation where, okay, let's use, well, I don't want to use Terrier thing, but in a group situation, when you're invited out, should there be it's more like a icebreaker, but a light something. So persons will know, hey, we here just to chat and say, we all together having fun. It is not about judgment or anything. We being ourselves. You want to free up, be yourself without being judged. Should the message be sent in some way, or that would create? Let me ask, should a message like that be sent for those who may be uncomfortable and don't know, have different expectations?
Well, I don't think like you would want to have a formal
Well, this is not formal. I'm talking
conversation.
about a
No,
message
but
in some way.
to me is as things evolve, we could, you know, if you choose to want to share it, or not because I see certain things, I have to believe that that's how it is.
Okay.
In other words, people can disprove, but it may just be me looking through my lens at that situation based on my prior knowledge or experience. Do you know that there are still people, even though we talking about how many 100 years ago, hold certain people's character to what they knew 100 years ago, or 50 years ago, or 60,
Yeah.
70 years
Yeah.
ago. So when
Yeah.
you see them in a group and you see the certain things they start, you still you get, and I remember you do me this and you
And that is
you
what,
feel like, what the
that's
hell
why
you
I asked the
talking
question,
about?
Maurice, to avoid that.
But you can't. The thing is that
You
it
can't.
cannot be
Yeah.
avoided because
you can't
no,
dictate
exactly,
in that
because
way.
and it also takes away from your peace and you enjoying what you came there for. And now some people get so defensive that they even shut up so that you just, and sometimes it's not a deliberate thing, eh? Sometimes people, because you're just not in a place where you accept people for who they are, rather for who you expect them to be or who you would like them to be, they still influence the way you see yourself and the way you behave. And that's something that I always try to do for myself, redirect my energy. Because there are
Okay.
certain things that I used to put a lot of energy into when we were in certain social environments or gatherings or groups or whatever it is. And, it's something that I'm working on now to redirect my energy and be very specific and intentional as to what am I going to receive having had this experience.
It's really us as individuals
Yeah,
to create our emotional
yeah,
space and be aware.
yes,
It's an awareness
yes,
now.
yeah,
So it can't be dictating to anybody. We as individuals have to learn, have to grow, have
yeah,
to understand the stage we're at, and using your terms, create all the time that happy emotional space, that
yeah,
very positive energy when we get wherever we are. All right,
yeah.
But
just
Jennifer, the thing we
clarity there.
have to be careful about there, I think your recommendation will work if you're in a group of strangers and then it is a meeting. It's not a it's not a
No, it
social
got to be
gathering, it's
fluid.
a
It's not
meeting.
like, yeah, just
Yeah.
Yeah,
just and
yeah,
just
But
throw that in for clarity. So that's fine.
yeah, but I also think that an important part of it is being aware that my acceptable social conventions are
May
mine.
not be
They are
somebody else.
mine. And
yeah,
Yeah,
full stop, they are mine. Everybody
yeah,
is coming in with their
yeah,
definition of what is socially acceptable. And I think the thing I have to keep reminding myself is when I see a convention that is not normal to me, pause and try and understand it before I condemn it or judge it.
yeah,
And I think that helps the balance. And even if nobody else is doing it, by all right, so if I'm in a group and I see something that is totally unacceptable in my view, I start by just, questions that seek understanding. Wow, I've never seen that before. And out of genuine inquiry, ask the person to help me understand why without putting them on a spot. And that often helps me to calm down my own automatic, try to influence or try to solve or reject or detach and allow them to come in without them even knowing that they traumatized me for a minute or two. You
yeah,
know?
oh, okay.
Or 3 or 4 or a few hours.
yeah,
But I think it is so important for us to understand that what is normal or acceptable for us is not necessarily normal and acceptable for everybody. And we didn't make the rule book, so we don't get to say who can behave. And at this age, we need to be able to do that. We
Yeah,
need to be able to do that. And I go back to, is it mine to solve? Is it mine to influence? Or is it mine to just accept?
yeah.
yeah,
One of the other things too coming out of those discussions is something that I tend to look at a lot, and it's about resentment. Because one of the things I know for myself is, that previously I was very resentful of many things and many people and their behaviors and their actions towards me. I'm not talking about when they how they behave with other people. I'm saying I looked at that for myself towards me. And I start to recognize that I have to stop expecting other people to behave according to my wishes. That's the only way that I can have peace, because I have no control over them and their actions and their behaviors, or even the things that they will say. And a lot of times it's not in a positive and it's not intended. They will say it's reverse psychology and they trying to build me, but I know no, that no, it is really about pain, but it's their pain that they're transferring and reflecting onto me, because I was a willing target. I opened myself for that. I allowed it, I engaged, I interacted. So a lot of times in groups, or even with family members and in family situations and stuff like that, a lot of history, I always tell them that's not relevant. That's historic data, yes,
Yeah.
but what are we dealing with now?
No,
So
yeah.
and certainly not about, whether you and I even had a relationship. Because sometimes that's the thing too, because we never forged a relationship in the past, you think that you can't tell me nothing that will support me or that will help me to grow as an individual. Because I know that you never liked me and you never cared for me. And those are the kinds of things that we have to let go of, and really take the information for what the information is and review it. And if it's not applicable, it's not applicable. And sometimes things are not applicable today, 10 years down the road, they become very relevant. And, but we don't have the opportunity to go back to tell the person, well, yeah, what you said, they may be dead and gone, or they may have moved on with their own lives, or even bringing that up would be of no relevance to them, because they've moved on, they've done with that. So we too have to learn to move on and be done with it. And that resentment and that envy and that jealousy and certainly those kind of behaviors that inhibit our growth, we have to work through them. And I tell people that don't deny that that's how it is. There's certainly a pain. There's certainly a pain. And understand what is the root of this, and how are you then going to just eradicate that root or stump it a little so that you could be healthier and create healthier relationships moving forward.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It's not hard.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No,
But when
it's
you
but
really,
it's more of a choice.
when you
It's a
really think
choice.
about it, if you're holding on to something an opinion that was formed 30, 40 years ago,
Yeah,
and you're bringing it back to the present, it means that you've denied the subject, or the object of that opinion, the benefit of the doubt of growth. So it's a pretty arrogant position to have, It meant that you're the only person who grew here. Nobody else grew.
correct.
It is
Or it could very well be that you have outgrown, because that's another thing with us too. We feel that because we have history, that we have to stay together. No, we don't.
Yeah.
No, we don't. People come into your life for a reason, a season, not necessarily a lifetime. So in some instances, what you experienced and enjoyed of me 10 years ago is no longer relevant. So you now have the opportunity to enjoy me in my present state, rather than, we used to be, and why we moved from that, or how that ever happened, or, no, it should happen every day to everybody.
Some
that
people
is
tell you,
irrelevant.
some people tell you, I prefer who you were before. I much prefer you like that. I don't like how you.
Yes.
I don't like how you are now. Very
Yes.
bold.
Yes. Yes.
I prefer
Yeah.
the old you.
You try and direct. else, but yeah, yeah. Yeah, or you're spending too much time
Yeah,
around
change.
Terry Ann. You're spending too much time around Terry Ann.
Yeah, no,
You
see,
need
you know,
to
this
distance yourself a
waves.
little
Or
bit
Jennifer
because,
Well,
rubbing off on you.
change.
or Jennifer rubbing off
But
on
that
you.
is the chow. That is the chow effect. That is the
Yeah,
chow effect. As the juices get together,
Correct.
everything.
Correct.
So it's
Yeah,
better.
yeah, it gets better. And that's why this conversation, even though a lot of people may think that we're having a good time, yeah, we're having a good time because it requires that good time. It requires that joy. It requires the excitement about the possibilities and the potential that is involved with sharing with the same people, but at different times, in different stages, with
yeah,
different thought processes and wanting different things. And nothing is wrong with that. Absolutely nothing. So we haven't changed. That's the other thing people like to say, how
We
you
have
change.
evolved. We've
We have
evolved.
evolved,
We've grown.
exactly. And we keep evolving. Yeah,
The mango get ripe. What I'm there. It's still
correct.
green.
But it could still be in the chow.
And it's still a mango.
And it's still a mango.
And you are still a
Correct.
coconut. A
Correct.
green coconut,
Correct.
soft jelly,
Correct.
hard jelly. You still
Yeah.
bring the flavor.
you
Yeah.
know,
And you have the right of choice. We all have the right of choice. But we have the right of choice because we choose to enjoy. We
oh
choose
yeah,
to partake. We choose to be nurtured. Because that's another thing too, that for a lot of people, when you talk about detachment, if somebody doesn't nurture your soul or nurture your being or nurture, the things that you are working on, why would you want to continue to include those people? And some people say they include them because of familiarity, and some people say, well, they never really did me anything. And if that is the truth, then you also have to look at yourself in terms of where you stuck or why you make the choices that you make, and stop blaming other people for situations or things that may occur as a result of your choices. These are your choices.
Maureen, I think you said something that made me understand why people choose to be what people call stuck. A choice is a difficult thing to make. A choice
It
is,
is.
I have options and I'm taking this one. And
Yeah,
therefore, giving up for a period of time the others. And for some people, and if this describes anybody, I accept that. It may be easier not to choose to be open to accept someone, or not to choose a new experience and take the risk of growth, or not to choose. It may be easier to stay wherever I last was comfortable, whether it was 40 years ago, 30 years ago, whether it was being angry at everybody because I figured that kept people away from me. So it might be easier to choose not to change, even though your whole world, your whole existence has changed. And what I know many people who decide they're not changing. So the world is yellow, or the world is purple. The world is purple. I refuse to acknowledge that it has become tangerine. And I think it is difficult for me. I tend to detach people who behave like that. That's where you get put in a box. And
yeah,
my box is your detachment. And
yeah.
I will promise from now on to just at least put you in the box gently. You're still going in the box. but I'll be gentle. I'll take my time. I'll do the 72-hour test. I'll leave you outside for 72 hours before decide to put you in the box. But I'm just thinking, making a choice might be frightening for people. So better stay in your status quo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think one of the things too that you're talking about there, Terry, which is also important when you're thinking about growth, is better decision making. Because a lot of us, we don't think clearly, and we respond rather than react. So things like change or things that we're uncomfortable with. So like you will find that people would ask questions and you asking questions to learn for you. But sometimes the questions people ask are really to certify that what they're doing is correct and to get you now to even support and collaborate so that you see, look, even Maureen understand, and you see what I mean? Yeah, and you're telling me this, I'm telling. But
There's something wrong
really
with
it's not
you if you're not changing,
correct.
to my view.
You not change, exactly,
To my
right? But
view.
it's not about me and the narrative that you don't even know why I agree with you or why I supporting the narrative. But really, I might be retarding your growth because it just makes me feel better, or it puts me in a position of authority or control, So a lot of times when you're exposing yourself like that, you're very selective about the audience that you will share certain things. And that's what I tell people. When I hear people say they know people, I always say you know of people. Nobody knows. I don't even know myself. So how will you know me? I know you. No. You know of me. And you knew of me in a time when the situation may have required me to operate in a particular way, but that's not who I am today. So why are you not giving me the opportunity to present the new version of myself? Because it makes you comfortable. So that's when I will detach myself as well. And it doesn't mean that the relationship is no more. What it means is that I'm creating healthier boundaries that would support me in where I'm going, as opposed to trying to convince you that you need to see me the way you choose to see me. You choose that, Go ahead.
Yeah. Jan, the
How I,
last word in our
how I
closing
see it
minutes.
in terms of that, we all have different growth paths, even within a same age group. We have
Yeah.
different growth paths based on our experiences and learnings. And I would say that for me, as long as I understand that, I choose to have people in my circle who on the same path as I am. That way I feel I will quicker reach where I want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not have, so my detachment would be I removing myself from persons who not on the same good path. Not that I don't dislike them or anything. I understand, I appreciate them, but I know who I am, definitely, and where I want to go, and the people who I want to be around me. So detach is not so final. It's just that, hey, at this time in my life, you are not in my circle. So basically, that's it. So we have to understand who we are. And I agree, do some introspection. And making a choice may be hard, but we have to decide whether we are remaining where we are or we want to move on. So that's it.
Great. So we really do hope you all enjoy this little chow recipe. But on the other
Yeah.
side, we have some information for you. So stay tuned. Jennifer, we have some news.
Yes,
have
our independence story that was really planned for Sunday, that we had no choice but to postpone. But let me tell you, we're saying postpone because we still having a get together, but that's not for independence. So we are now working on it, and we will tell you we're hoping Republic, because we still want to celebrate on a special day. But stay tuned and we'll tell you if it will be on Celebrating Republic or what we have in store. But definitely we're going to be getting together soon. Yeah.
all right. Until then, continue making chow. Nice chow. Variety of fruits. All kinds of fruits. Bye.
So we said bye.
Hi, everyone.
Okay.
50 Plus Tribe and followers from Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean.
Thank you for joining us on this Connections 50 Plus 5.8G Alive show.
We hope you enjoyed the lively conversation and look forward to seeing you next week.
Don't forget to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
We really love getting your feedback. Bye
Bye
for
for
now.
now.